There was once a peaceful village deep in the heart of the African savannah. This village was called Isakon, which means unity. The people of Isakon were proud of their history. For many generations, they had survived on the wisdom of their ancestors, the strength of their warriors, and the guidance of their elders. The village had many farms, livestock, and wide rivers full of fish. The land was fertile, and the gods had always smiled upon the people of Isakon. They lived like one big family, trusting each other with their lives. Among the people was a young man named Ogunde. Ogunde was strong, tall, and known to be the best hunter in Isakon. His skill with the spear was unmatched, and his aim never missed. The people of the village trusted him deeply. Whenever the village needed food, Ogunde would venture deep into the forest to bring back wild animals. He never came back empty-handed. But it wasn't just his hunting skills that made Ogunde respected. He was the son of the village's chief, Chief Oleyinka. His father, old and wise, was the pillar of the community. Many looked up to him for guidance, and the people trusted that one day, Ogunde would take his father's place and lead the village. There was another man in the village, Afolabi. Afolabi was Ogunde's childhood friend. They grew up together, played together, and learned the ways of the village side by side. Afolabi, though not as skilled as Ogunde, was clever with his words. He knew how to talk to people and make them listen. Whenever there was a dispute in the village, Afolabi was the one who would calm the storm with his smooth tongue. But there was something no one knew about Afolabi. Deep inside, he envied Ogunde. Every time Ogunde was praised, Afolabi felt the sting of jealousy. He wanted what Ogunde had, the respect, the trust, and the future as the leader of Isakon. But Afolabi hid his feelings well. He smiled in front of Ogunde and called him brother, but inside, his heart was cold. One day, a terrible drought came upon the village. The rain stopped, and the rivers began to dry up. The crops withered, and soon, the people were starving. The elders gathered to find a solution. They decided that the only way to survive was to leave Isakon and find new land. But moving the whole village was dangerous. They needed someone brave to scout the way. Ogunde will go, Chief Oleyinka said, his voice full of pride. My son will find the way for us. He is the best hunter, the strongest among us. We can trust him. Ogunde nodded. He was ready to serve his people. But Afolabi's heart sank. The moment he had feared had come. Ogunde was once again the hero of the village, and Afolabi remained in the shadows. His envy grew, and for the first time, he thought of betraying his friend. That night, while Ogunde prepared for his journey, Afolabi came to him with a smile. Brother, he said, let me come with you. Two are better than one. Together, we will find the way faster. Ogunde, trusting Afolabi as always, agreed. Yes, my brother, he said, together we will save our people. They set out at dawn, leaving the village behind. For days, they traveled through the forest, crossing dry rivers and hunting small animals for food. Ogunde led the way, confident in his skill and knowledge of the land. But as they journeyed further, Afolabi began to set his plan into motion. One night, as they sat by the fire, Afolabi spoke. Ogunde, he said, have you ever wondered if the people truly appreciate you? They rely on you for everything, but when you are not there, they speak behind your back. Ogunde frowned. What do you mean, brother? I hear the whispers, Afolabi continued, his voice low and dangerous. They say you think you are better than them because you are the chief's son. They say you only care about yourself. Ogunde shook his head. That is not true. I love my people. Afolabi leaned closer. I know, brother, but do they know that? Maybe you should not be the one leading them. Maybe someone else should take that burden. Ogunde's heart grew heavy with doubt. He had always trusted his people, but now, Afolabi's words planted a seed of uncertainty. The next day, as they traveled further into the wilderness, Afolabi made his move. They reached a steep cliff overlooking a wide valley. The valley below was lush and green, full of life. It was the land they had been searching for. Ogunde smiled, knowing he had found a new home for his people. But as Ogunde stood on the edge of the cliff, gazing at the valley, Afolabi saw his chance. His envy had taken full control of him, and he knew that if Ogunde returned to the village as the hero, he would never have what he truly wanted. Without a word, Afolabi crept behind Ogunde and pushed him over the edge. Ogunde fell, his body tumbling down the rocks, and he landed hard at the bottom of the valley. Afolabi looked down at the motionless figure of his friend, his heart pounding. For a moment, he felt guilt, but it quickly disappeared. Now, the village would be his to lead. Afolabi returned to Isikan alone. He told the people a terrible lie. Ogunde is dead, he said, his voice heavy with false grief. He fell while we were searching for new land. But before he died, he asked me to lead you. He told me that it was my duty to take his place. The people mourned Ogunde's death, but they believed Afolabi's story. After all, he had been Ogunde's closest friend. Chief Olayinka, broken by the loss of his son, accepted Afolabi as the new leader of the village. But Ogunde was not dead. Though his body was broken, he survived the fall. For days, he lay in the valley, barely clinging to life. It was the gods who saved him. They sent a group of nomads who found him and nursed him back to health. When Ogunde regained his strength, he knew he had to return to his village and confront Afolabi. Months later, Ogunde walked into Isikan, his body scarred but his spirit unbroken. The people were shocked. They had thought him dead. Afolabi's lies began to unravel as the truth came out. In front of the whole village, Ogunde spoke. Afolabi, my brother, why did you betray me? Afolabi, seeing no way out, fell to his knees and begged for forgiveness. But the people of Isikan would not forgive him. The betrayal was too great. Afolabi was banished from the village, left to wander the wilderness alone. Ogunde took his rightful place as the leader of Isikan. Under his guidance, the village moved to the new land he had found. The people prospered once again, but they never forgot the betrayal of Afolabi. And so, the story of Ogunde and Afolabi became a lesson for the people of Isikan: trust is sacred, and betrayal comes with a heavy price.